Now back to the action with Jason.
Welcome back to me eating M&Ms. I should have planned this better. This is Dante and Barry. They're both from Sydney?
Yep.
And
Yes.
originally?
No.
No, really?
Vegas.
Vegas?
I'm from Vegas originally.
It sounded like you should have said baby after that. I'm
Baby.
from
Vegas, baby.
All right. They're here doing a show called The Comedy Court.
Comedy Court.
Comedy Court.
Yes.
And tell us about it, because it sounds different.
Yeah, it is. Comedy Court. I started Comedy Court in Sydney almost 4 years ago. And I decided to do something, stand up with a twist. So basically what I did is I took this concept of digital voting pads, audience participation, up-and-coming comics on one side, seasoned, well-oiled, like your guys here on the show.
Yeah.
Professionals on the other side, and combining them for like a 2-in-1 show thing. So basically, the concept of Comedy Court is you have a barrister who comes out wearing the judge's wig. He's the MC. He's got on a judge's robe. He's got a huge gavel. And
Giant novelty gavel?
It's a huge, not that big,
sweet.
but it's a little bigger than a normal gavel.
Right.
And his job is to make sure the audience knows what's going on, that they're voting for their favorite up-and-coming comics. They vote 1 to 5 instantly. It's all sent to a computer. The computer tallies it all up instantly. And at the end of each show, we can tell you exactly what the numbers are, who's first, who's second, who's third, and who advances.
Instantaneous, not like this piece of crap.
No. Not like this. I wouldn't. This is
No,
nice,
you're
nice
not
crap.
a piece of crap. I'm just saying the computer.
So that's the idea behind it.
Yeah, right.
And it's been running now for 4 years, and I'd say in the 4 years I've probably had about, this is a conservative estimate, about 460 comics come through the door.
Wow.
Quite a few comics. A lot of them are new up-and-coming guys. A lot of them now are seasoned guys that when we started 3.5 years ago, they've gotten so good now that they're special guests. I have them come back as special guests.
Nice.
So it's going over really well. The idea is so good. I had the idea patented, so it is a patented idea in the concept. So for you guys know that already.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. The audience loves the voting. I mean, you know, they get their digital pad, and we're going to do the same thing here in Adelaide. Everyone coming through the door will get a radio-controlled digital pad.
People love their opportunity to pass judgment.
Oh,
it's
they
like
do.
live. It's like live Twitter. It's like this
incredible.
guy.
But not only do you get to make winners, you get to make losers.
Yeah, that's what people really care about. No one cares about making someone a winner.
No one wants to be the Marsha Hines judge.
Everyone wants to be Nico.
Have you not read reviews?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds expensive. Like, for me, the first thing I'm like, that would never happen with any promoters I know, because they're all broke.
Well, basically, the concept cost me $4,500 American, and if I'd have bought the pads, the transmitter, the receiver in Australia, same unit, 11.5 grand. So that's probably why no one has decided to do it here. Because I'm from the States, I go in, grab stuff, nowhere to go, skip the middleman.
But
so
still,
$4.5
grand.
That's still a big investment. But in order to make the show unique, you just had to do it. It had to be done. Whereas it was going to be an impact when people came in and said, when they left, they said, man, the comics are crap, but I really love voting for them. Getting rid of them, you know, this was great, you know.
I was happy to sit through 5 minutes of shit so I could show them how much shit I want.
So they get to finish their set. It's not like Gong Show style where they can get cut off.
No. You it's a set. You get a 5-minute or 6-minute set. The seasoned guys and gals that come in that have been doing it for years, they get 10 minutes or so. So they're like
Do they get judged as well?
No. They're known. We let them know, the audience, that they're special guests. So these guys are just to keep everything flowing.
I was going to say, do you get some people still being cheeky and going?
Well, you'll find some people voting. They just love it. I said, no, man, she was a special guest.
They just like the feel of the pad.
You know, they do. They just do it.
So about four years ago, you would have been spewing when the iPhone came out, like 6 months later, and you could have just downloaded this free app.
Same app, everyone. The only problem is no one had iPhones back then. Only a few elite guys like yourself, maybe your camera people. They had them, but the regular average Joe was still using Nokia.
Yeah,
they didn't have the iPhones.
It's true. Now,
now they do, but fortunately for me, not many people have that software, that application on their iPhone where they can walk in and start voting. And hopefully we can work out something. It is the future.
You need to make an app out of it and bring it into the future so that people don't even have to be at the gig. They can just be sitting at home voting on people that they're not even watching.
For the music.
Who's on this week? I'll show him. Okay. Yes.
I can actually be watching it on the iPhone, and then the music plays and they vote.
Wow.
I like it. That's a good
Now,
idea.
Barry, you're
Get to the
here
paint
from
office
Sydney.
quick.
Are you a special guest of these shows?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm the
You didn't
guest.
come
I
all the way
become
just to be
guest.
voted out.
No, I came all the way for the red wine.
Brilliant. We've got enough.
South
You're more than
Australia.
welcome. Nice. And so, tell us about you.
I do stand up. I was looking at your gear because the last year and a half I've been making a feature film. So we've been a bunch of comedians from Sydney. So Alan Glover and Gary Hu, Judas Following, Steph Torrick, and some of the guys. We got together, had a script we've been kicking around. So we've been doing that. So I haven't done a lot of stand up in the last couple of years. So the opportunity to come over was good.
Yeah, nice.
Check out the Fringe.
Well, you
have a
should talk to
holiday.
Maz. Maz just finished his first feature film as well.
Okay.
Shot in a 5D. I don't know if you know
Well, we
that.
shot ours on red. So
Red. He didn't have to sync up his sound.
So, yeah.
Excellent, nice. So you had a budget, did you?
We cheated a bit. We spent money on the camera, and we got a studio set up similar to this, but in a guy's double garage.
Similar to this.
We've
you
had all
poor
the gear.
bastard.
Oh, we got Mac. It's all done on Mac, so you can do everything on Final Cut Pro and After Effects. So with the gear now and the red camera, it means that you can basically make Hollywood quality films. So we just spent a bit of our own money, stuck it in, got everybody to work on deferral, and so if it works, it works.
Yeah, nice. And what's the name of the movie?
The movie's called Up the Aisle, so if you want to check it out, go to uptheaislemovie.com. There's a website there, I'll give you all the information. So
Maz, you want to plug your movie at all?
Nah, I'll be right.
Sounds good.
It's great. I shot some of it, so that you can tell which ones I shot because camera angles are a bit lower.
Yeah, okay. So we'll be able to pick that out. Now, Barry is one of the guys who's been coming for at least 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer. So he was one of the guys that were there when I first started.
All right.
out. So now he's one of the special guests. So every now and then he pops his head in, does a quick set, kills everyone in, leaves, shakes my hand, says see you next time.
And is there a punishment for being the worst? Like, as the judge, can you?
It's
judge
interesting. It's interesting using the voting pads because when we first started, we had an older gentleman. He was about 69, maybe 70. And he had the worst ventriloquist act I've ever seen. The dummy was older than Moses, I'm telling you. And the problem with it, the dummy's voice sounded like his voice.
Yeah.
So the audience couldn't tell when he was throwing it, when the dummy wasn't talking.
That is awesome.
And he was so bad.
That is awesome.
The audience was rolling in the aisles. He thought he won. But he was just that bad. It was just such the worst ventriloquist act. But he didn't win. But he thought he did, and at the end of the night, when we announced the winner, he started walking towards. He was sure.
That is
Michael
great.
Jackson did that once,
Yeah,
didn't he?
yes, it was just.
Yeah, that's right.
Britney Spears gave him some more, and
That's right. I remember that. It was
Yeah,
really
right.
embarrassing. He didn't win. He was up.
Was that like
well, it was like
recently
a
as in the last few years?
No, he's dead now.
No, I know that. I mean the last like few years.
Yeah, maybe a few years ago.
I don't. Oh, for God. Yeah, I'm voting against that.
There you go. Give it to him.
Get out.
Give it to
That's
him.
what you get for
Have your
having
comedy classes.
So what happened is you have to show him the numbers. Do you want to print out?
He really did so bad. I think the lowest score you can get is 1.
Yeah.
And he holds the record for the most ones ever. But it just goes to show you in the concept of the show that you could be so bad you could kill the audience. They're just laughing their heads off and you could still lose. But your act could be really that bad. So for us, we don't know how the audience is really going to vote.
Yeah.
They might say, this guy was so bad, I feel sorry for him. Let's give him a good score, And it's just one of those things that you just don't know the way it's going to go. And for us, when we tally up the scores, I actually MC sometimes wearing the robe and the wig. And I have to, step back and go, really, this guy, are you sure? Tally that up one more, but it does happen. But that's the fun of using the pads.
Yeah.
And
so you bringing the show to Adelaide from
Yes.
Sydney, but has it been outside Sydney before?
no, this is the first time. And this is interesting because I've flown in from 2008. The casino actually was interested in the idea.
flight.
It's a long flight. Just landed, actually.
Flew in
Yeah,
2008.
in 2008, I've been flying into.
You must
Adelaide.
need to do a shit.
I
so
do.
bad.
And the food isn't the best. But the casino has flown me in on occasion to talk about the concept.
Right.
And this is since 2008, so I've been here 3 or 4 times discussing it. But every time it looks like we're about to go ahead, they fire that events manager, And then I got to re-educate the next guy. So this has gone on for such a long time. So this is the actual first time I've taken the show out of Sydney, but it isn't the first time I've tried to take the show out.
And before we went to air, you were kind of chatting about who promotes comedy here. So are you trying to bring it back? Is that what
I would love to have several venues. I mean, for me, since I started with just Comedy Court, and now I have 3 different rooms, different nights. So there's Comedy Court, then our Saturday night is Quick, Some Comedy Quick, 5 or more comics, 60 minutes, hold on tight. And then there's Comedy for Lunch, so it's the CBD's only lunchtime stand-up comedy show, and which includes lunch. It's really good.
Includes lunch?
Yeah, look out. And it just gives more avenues and venues for the up-and-coming comics and the professionals to do their trade. So I love doing that. I love going places where there's limited amounts of venues where people, they want to be comics, but they have to wait 4 months or 4 weeks to get into a spot. I love to go somewhere and open up a venue and do different theme nights and have different comics come in and say, man, I'll be back there again in 2 weeks, not 2 months or 2 years. So I would love to do the same concept here. I've been talking to people in Melbourne. I'd love to do it in Melbourne. So who knows? I might bring it here. Still negotiating with the casino. I mean, still doing some things there. So who knows how that's going to pan out.
Excellent work.